I have presented the key result, articulate around the African implementation of the African continental free trade area, and of course the demographic dynamic for development. Just to focus on those two things, of course we have many other results, but by way of focusing on two critical results. Number one is the African free trade area. I'm so happy and proud to say that out of the 28 national CFTA strategy formulated with the support, technical support and financial support of ECA, 11 were done in West Africa. Our office has supported 11 countries to formulate and validate their national development plan. That is 39.28% of the whole CFTA and strategy formulated with the support of ECA. But we went ahead to actually mobilize resources, extra budgetary resources, to supporting the implementation of those strategies, supporting the action plan of each of those national strategies. We have 30 projects that support the implementation of those priorities indicating, reflecting in the national development. It's a strategy, national strategy, CFTA strategy. And right now I'm happy to say for all those countries, we dig into the very specific element to actually enable countries to participate effectively and benefit from the CFTA. It goes, it takes into account the rule of origin, the guide. It takes also into account some standard, production standards, so that they will be able to actually upstream and move forward the ladder. In the meantime, we also launched last year, some years ago, this West Africa Business Linkages platform, which helped to bring in the entrepreneur, especially the youth entrepreneur and woman entrepreneur, to leapfrog really the CFTA strategy. So right now, we're so happy to say we're seeing stride. We have registered a lot of stride, but we're moving forward and hopefully we'll be registering more results to come with greater interaction between our member states on the platform, but also greater interaction in my member state in implementing their national strategy in a very kind of synergical way, but in a very cross-country perspective and cross-country learning. When it comes to demographic dynamic for development, you know, demographic issues are not our mandate. Our mandate is not that. But we're bringing some specific value contribution. We're shaping our niche in that we have conceptualized and bringing what we call the demo economics. The demo economics is what? Is that analyzing and conceptualizing and understanding any impact of any change in the demographic structure on the economic growth and development. I mean, this is the first in its kind, and we have launched a regional project which is called Budgeting Sensitive to Demographic Dividend, with a view to ensuring that national countries' development plan integrate demographic dimension, which means why we're saying budgeting sensitive to demographic, it goes beyond the budget. Budget being the tool of policy making, your policy formulation processes have to be sensitive to those DD, have to integrate the demographic dynamic dimension for your resource allocation to do the same. And we engage with our member state at the very highest level. We engage with minister in charge of planning, with the National Observatory in charge of demographic dividend. We engage with the statistics department to set up a multidisciplinary team. That team is responsible for working with us under the leadership of their minister in a very hands-on and in-depth manner to be able to integrate the demographic dimension, meaning employment, health, education, and economic governance into their processes. I'm happy to report today that that engagement of process over the last 6 months has led to country adopting the tool of budgeting sensitive to demographic dividend with a view, and then we went on and supporting them to actually align what we call demographic dynamic measurement index to the functional budget. The functional budget means you transform your classical budget into functional budget, whereby you can actually allocate resources and ensuring in a very specific way public resources are allocated to DD, demographic dynamic dimension. And right now, the results are the following. In the half a year, 6 months after working with our member state, Senegal, Benin, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Togo, we have estimated the budget elasticity. What does it mean? We have demonstrated to member states that if you increase your budget in that, maybe 1%, what are the implications in that? If you don't do it and you increase your budget, let's say for health, on 7% or 10%, you also need to go into the function of the budget to making sure that the actual services, the actual good related to health actually are funded for, rather than allocating resources on salaries, allocating resources on meeting and so on. So being able to have that narrative around that budget, being able to demonstrate the value contribution of effective allocation of budget to demographic dynamic, demographic dividend, being able to bring in all those people who works on the budget and planning process to own it, that's what we have. And we are happy to say that result will lead to engaging all those people who actually have an effective role to play in the budget allocation to be able to do it in the next semester. And we look forward to engaging with more people. But more importantly, those are the few examples we have raised. But more importantly, we have been engaging with the private sector. The private sector is a cornerstone on refugee integration in West Africa, like in other regions. They are the cornerstone of actually the implementation of CFTA. Tropics is one of them. We engage them very forcefully with the view to saying, if we are to trade more between us, if we are to promote made in West Africa, that has to come from the private sector. And the private sector has what it takes to mobilize the actor and be at the forefront of the implementation of the CFTA. We did it, and I'm happy to say that actually last year, because of the engagement and the work and the result, the Africa Economic Zone gave us an award in recognition with our team. And it's important to continue the work. It's important to continue the work with other private sector, and that we will be doing. In the same vein, we also engaging in ensuring that our countries are ready enough, identifying the high impact initiative in the lead up of the summit. And that also involves all the other work, because by the way, we conceptualize our whole program around 4 pillars or 4 big ticket items. That is one, the National Development Plan, which is the entry point to be able to influence policies for change and create bigger uptake. Another one is demographic dynamic for development. And of course, another one is regional integration and all what it has to do with the CFTA. And of course, the whole things of ensuring that SDG are there. So the interconnection of our work helps us to be able to intervene in different things with a view to having positive externality in many others. We look forward to the second semester to deepen in what we have achieved so far to take it further. And indeed, it is very comprehensive and aligned with our budget, because so far we have 78% of our budget received and so on and so forth. And we have all evidence out there to see.